All right, everyone. Hello, Michael. What's up? What's up? Okay. What a crazy day was. um, Everything was up all of a sudden. You see a lot of Broadcom, you see a lot of like big companies out there. There are, even Tesla was 21% today. Crazy, huh? Um, but of course, it's due to new rally basis of tariffs being paused for 90 days, all of that. So that could be the issue, but I feel like they might still come down. So that's just my thought. I have a feeling this is just a pump, but anyway, we'll talk about it in a minute here. Let's see. Should I wait a couple more minutes? Well, actually, I don't have much time today, so I'm just going to kind of go through it, through a lot of information, and not enough. Probably just to give some context here of what happened today, I guess. I've listened to a lot of people, just to try to figure out what's going on with the bond market. Yesterday was like swinging wildly. And if you look at what is happening, it could be because of the base trade that George Garman was talking about. I mean, it's pretty complicated, but essentially it's this hedge fund, right? They are trying to make a couple bucks instead of like building companies that matters to people, that produce something for people to use. They would much rather just manipulating currency around and to make billions and billions doing that. And now when the economy is going great, right, everything would hunky dory, so they make money, and then they get to pay the collateral back. But when the economy is just swinging wildly and you just can't predict what is going on, there's a lot of people freaking out. And so everybody is asking for cash, money, and all that stuff. And, you see a lot of like dollar shortage type of deal here. And this is probably why the rate, interest rate went up instead of down. Because typically when people are flighting to safety, bond goes down, like the rate of return goes down, but the bond prices goes up. It's a bit complicated, I know, but that's why you see like TLT and all that stuff. So hold on, let me try to show this one. I mean, it's pretty, again, I feel like this is temporarily. It's not gonna see that swing wild swing in the bond market. It's not supposed to, you guys. So that's why today's what happened in the equity market is kind of like suspicious. So that's why I'm thinking like it might come down still. But yeah, you might have a few days of rally here based on the news. But Trump gave a deadline already, 90 days. So perhaps it's gonna rally for the whole 90 days. Who knows? And that's when I'm kind of like, hey, maybe I'm tapping out here, because the underlying issue is still not being fixed. So if there's any time for Jimmy to run, this is probably the time. And I think, in 3 months or whatever gain that Jimmy's gonna go into, it might damper a little bit after that. And then it's going to continue, because again, the underlying issue hasn't been resolved yet, you guys. Because again, we are over levered to the till. Nobody could figure out who owns what, okay? And so the other course of action for the Fed to do is to lower the rate, to stimulate the economy, right? Even though they tell you that, there are tariffs and all that stuff, we don't know whether the inflation's going to go through its course. Now, tomorrow is CPI report, so you might see a little more turbulence in the market. So just prepare for that. I mean, I'm thinking, you guys, I'm thinking, you know, I keep doing this. I forgot to put it up. But anyway, so um, you could see that. Oh, now it's coming down. Used to be the 30 years. It was like 5%. This morning, I guess, if you look into it, went up to close to that, and even the 10 years as well. So it's coming back down a little bit here. With that initial shock too, because China is retaliating, and they're dumping U.S. Treasury in order to prop up their own currency over here. But the more they dump, the worse it gets, because as people trying to sell before China, because again, this hedge fund knows, right, when things like this is going to happen, they kind of front run China in that too. So they sold ahead of time in order to kind of cause a little bit of loss, for China. But again, this is like, you guys, like trillions and trillions of dollars here we're talking about. So of course it's going to affect the market a little bit here. But when bond goes up like that, right? Usually people are like, oh, maybe the stock market's gonna rally type thing. Because bond value kind of come down. So again, algorithm are also in play as well. But the main culprit though is Donald Trump's post about buying the best time to buy, which I've been saying anyway. So depends on what you're owning, right? And again, this is why I'm so convicted in GME, you guys, because it's so stable. No matter what is happening in the market, whether the Fed's gonna raise the rate or lower the rate, it really doesn't affect what GME is, because we have it built in already. So just like Morant was saying, you have it built in the sense that, okay, if you buy GME, right, you're not just buying in the company. Yes, you have some equity in there, but also now you have $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. And then also too, you have 4 point whatever money left, right? Hopefully he buys more Bitcoin at the dip. But whatever money left, you have that in cash. And now, because of the shortage of cash, that cash is going to generate even more yield, because the yield at this point in time, if you lock it in, if Warren Buffett, if Ryan Cohen is able to lock in that safety of 5% for that particular point in time, he's going to be able to earn 5% risk-free no matter what. Yes, I mean, the risk is that people are going to dump Treasury even more, but you could see that the only person that is or country that is not negotiating is China. So maybe that's the trick all along, is to get China to cave in, and because they are the biggest deficit that we have, trade deficit that we have. So he's tackling the biggest one. And so, and also the next one would be Canada, right? But last I heard, Canada was trying to negotiate too. So, I mean, love him or hate him, what he's trying to do is I guess, to strong arm people into submission here by trading partner. But so now other countries gonna get a relief of 90 days, and then China is gonna be the one that going to be isolating themselves. I don't know about Russia. Last I heard too, they were trying to settle oil in Bitcoin. Again, I don't know if that's the true news here, so I have to verify that. But if that's the case, Bitcoin is also isolated in that too. Yes, you could see the tariff scares and all that stuff, the kind of like bringing the price of Bitcoin down with it. But it's more to do with people don't understand what they hold sometimes, right? And even though, there's no tariffs on Bitcoin because no country is issuing it, but Bitcoin would have been the best asset class to get into at this moment in time. And now more than ever, every country around the world right now are talking about adding Bitcoin in their treasury, okay, in there as a reserve currency. So yes, the end game is coming, where Bitcoin is going to be the asset class that people going to want, and the collateral, the pristine collateral that anyone would have used in 20 years. I'm telling you, this is going to happen, because again, you see a lot of money printing is coming. China just print more money. Everybody just print more money, and you see it in the global money supply here. Okay, you see it perked up again, right there. Oops. If you slow it up a little bit here. Now, this data already happens, you guys. And this chart right here just pushed this data ahead close to 107 days, okay? And so when you do that, you could kind of see that Bitcoin is kind of follow that, right? Now, when Bitcoin goes up, everybody goes up too, okay? So you probably will still see a little bit trailing over here, a little perked up there. It's not going to go up straight line like that, although it can. You might have a few more days to accumulate down here. Again, if it follows the same exact pattern, right? Let's see, when is I think April, I want to say mid-April. And this is why I got the mid-April from. It's from this chart right here. And now I'm saying that Jimmy or leadership can have a little bit more time to accumulate Bitcoin at this price point. So I wouldn't rush him, but again, that's why I was like, hey, if you're listening, establish Bitcoin position right now. Whether you want to do it in 3 times, $500 million at a time. If you want to do that's cool too. Just to get the best point average, right? Price average, because we don't know whether it's going to come crashing down tomorrow either. But based on the global money supply, right, you're going to see this trailing first and then up and then trailing again and then go, right? So we're waiting for that spike right there. And it seems like it kind of is resembling this right here to this last cycle here. These little bits over here that we see. But again, people also have, hold on, I think that Bitcoin stock to flow, right? Bitcoin stock to flow, stock to flow. Sorry, you guys, I'm a bit shuffling today. Don't know what's happening with my brain. All right, so this is still, we're in the yellow zone over here, but very low on the lines right there. But I like the rainbow chart better. I wonder if I could see it down here. Oh, this one just shows a better, price point. So initially, if you take a look, see, we're hitting that midline there. And so that's always the best time to buy. Right there, one. Right there, one. Right there, one. And it seems to bounce right off of that trend line right there. So that's encouraging for sure, right? Whether this is programmed to be that way or just Bitcoin in and of itself is very resilient in this type of market condition, because again, it should be insulated, right? It shouldn't be trading based on earnings anymore because it's commodity. It shouldn't be like, oh, what is the next quarter? No, no, no. It's more to do. I think Jack Miller, the guy that I was watching, he had a good explanation here. Hold on, let me see if I would bring him up because I think he explained better. Yen went down. It's a currency war for sure, you guys. Like, crazy, right? Looks like French people are looking into that. El Salvador, of course, have Bitcoin, and they become more wealthier. People are urging GameStop to make an announcement today. We didn't get it. And of course, this guy is trying to investigate insider trading. I'm not quite sure how I feel about today, though, but it seems like he was telling everyone about the the best time to buy and all that stuff. And yesterday too, he said like, don't be a panicking, right? Be strong and all that stuff. So he's hinting that, look, the stock market is okay. He knows what he's doing and all that stuff. So it's kind of like encouraging, right? So technically, if you are listening to him and taking him seriously, of course you're gonna be prepared for today gain. I don't think anyone expected to be this high though, but I'm sure there are a lot of people who are lever to the tilt and trying to get the best call options and all that stuff. So yeah, people are betting the market for sure. But now this guy's called for the investigation of insider trading, right? But I'm like, for years, when Nancy Pelosi does it, nobody cares. And now when it's like glaringly, and you could argue like, okay, Trump, sure, he manipulate the market. I don't think so. You know why? Because he told the world, like, you could get access to his Truth Social if you want. Anyone could go on that platform. It's not like a private chat or anything, right? But anyway, yes, I mean, people know about it, and I'm sure people who took him seriously like this will take action for sure. Yeah, I wish I knew about this like 3 hours ago, right? I would have been 3 hours before, because I found that out already afterwards. So didn't get to buy the call option that makes a gazillions of dollars. But anyway, so that's one. But I think this is Roaring Kitty though. But anyway, I've just been posting a lot about Bitcoin here. But the 30 years went up 5% for a brief moment. And again, this is a testament that people need dollar at that time. So, or US need dollars. And so they're willing to pay 5%, which is pretty high, compared to the historical, rate. And so my point is, if Franklin were able to lock in that 5% for the next 30 years on some amount of, money, again, just to say, I guess, be able to kind of keep the fortress of money kind of in constant supply. And on top of that, you have another pristine collateral on top of, treasury. So typically, traditionally, right, treasury is the pristine collateral because people use treasury all the time. It used to be the most liquid in the world. And people all over the world wants treasury, US treasury. And, just within the last decades, they've just been printing too much money that people are like, well, we're tapping out because we don't have enough money to just, buy your treasury anymore, which is government debt, okay, essentially. And so that's could be the problem for the next generation. But now, Trump is setting up Bitcoin or digital asset in general as a layer of another security too. So you got to give him some credit for that, to be able to pull it off in that sense. So, But again, hey, I'm into Bitcoin. Obviously, I'm very happy for that. But for those people who doesn't understand what Bitcoin is, of course, it's gonna take them some time. But I hope it's not too late for you to realize that Bitcoin is important here within the next, 10 years, hopefully, and more. Obviously, it's going to become the global currency for sure. So it's gonna take some pressure off of the dollar. Yes, the dollar will still be here because we're gonna still be the chosen one, so to speak. I mean, think about it. If Chinese billionaire right now, if you're a billionaire in Chinese culture or in China, sorry, in China right now, wouldn't you want to flee to dollars as quickly as possible? Of course. And so blockchain is going to allow people to make that choice. And China is not going to be able to stop it. The president of China cannot stop it because it's free and fair. And to people who are actually, holding Bitcoin and all that stuff, right? And with the stable coin as well, it's going to increase the demand for dollar as well all over the world. So, yeah, whether you like it or not, it's going to happen. So just prepare yourself for it, setting yourself, at least study about it, learn about it as much as you can. And so that you could prepare. You might be wrong, but at least it's your own, make your own decision, right? I'm not trying to, kind of force you or anything like that to even buy anything that I'm telling you. But it's very exciting, time to be in if you know what is going on. So again, to me, if you take this guy less seriously, you're not gonna understand what the plan is, and you're not gonna be able to reap the benefit. Well, you probably can, but you're gonna have to wait 4 more years or something like that, rather than trading what he's telling you to buy. And keep in mind, remember the 5 coins he tweeted out? I hope you have at least one of them. And the best case scenario that you want to have at least 4 or 5 of them. Sorry. Well, why not just add 5? Just take all 5. And so yeah, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, ADA, and one more. I forgot. See, I forgot already. It was 5 coins. Oh, XRP, of course. Yes, XRP. And see, even China also accept Bitcoin. So yeah, it's the best time to live. But anyway, just again, be careful, because the spies went crazy. I was thinking, oh my goodness, what is going on? I found out already when it happens. Okay, so just be prepared for this gap right here. It might just go up and fill that gap tomorrow and then continue on the downtrend. So that could possibly happen still, because keep in mind, nothing has been resolved, you guys. The market is still expensive. All of the companies are still expensive. So this is probably just a relief. And then it's going to continue to walk back down again. Okay? And keep in mind as well, tariffs will still be in effect, but just 10% on all, good imported here. And then no retaliation pause on every country except China. So of course, China, if they are coming to negotiation, I'm sure we're gonna get a better deal this time around, because China is gonna be willing to be more enticed to make the deal, and they might have to take a loss here, a little bit here. But all in the name to save the market, right? People still care about the stock market. Any Democrats complaining about the stock went down? But again, it could still go down though. Just be prepared for that. Okay, so that's that. I feel like I cover everything, you guys. So tomorrow, of course, I haven't seen the price of Jimmy over here. Let's talk about that real quick. Today, it was a good day, but again, it's very tame, very controlled. There's no explosive price action or anything like that, even though it should have. Okay, it's been, I mean, the only stock that is controlled to the tilt over here. I mean, you see Qualcomm, you see Nvidia, you see Broadcom went up like double digit, but GME just like what 7-8%. But again, it's almost like it's building that foundation again, like those strength of a push that we saw back in May over here. You could see that little like push and then kind of stalling a little bit. So you could kind of see that this 3 candle here, you could just smush them together. And so now you've got, a candle that is kind of like 3 white shoulder over here. 1, 2, 3. And then next day, pull back and then boom, explosion. Who knows? We want announcement for sure. Bitcoin announcement should happen soon. Soon, please. Okay. What else? ZAS. I can't even say. Top stock for the week. Okay, so Jimmy made a list. That's good. There you go. So there are some good news over here. High flying large cap stock to buy. Of course, they're pushing you to large cap. Bitcoin Q2 bullish signal emerge after pullback. Yeah. Again, there's no earnings call here for Bitcoin, so it's gonna go up. Cool. Yep. Look at that. Bounce right at the. Ooh. I mean, can you imagine if you put a limit order over here and it never catches? Oh my goodness. All right. I think that's all I have, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm a bit kind of in a foggy day type thing. Like I can't believe the gains today. But of course, good news for Jimmy, right? So today is Wednesday, so we have 2 more trading days to go. I'm hoping that these 2 days is going to be just rocket, right? At some point, Ron Kitty's gonna have to come back. And yeah, hopefully within this 90 days, it's going to send everything to the stratosphere and then come crashing. So we're in that stage, you guys. So be prepared for the market crash still, but not right now at the immediate term. Okay, but it's kind of close. So just remember, nothing has resolved yet. The Fed is still going to speak tomorrow. Not speak, sorry. They're gonna put out the CPI report. So if it comes up more than expectation, market's gonna react to that. Okay, so understand that. So don't freak out still. If you want to sell some, okay, fading out, fading in, you can do your thing. I don't mind. If you want to do that, that's on you. For me, I'm just gonna stay put. It's okay. I'm gonna stay put and wait for more to come. All right, guys, I will let you go. Thank you so much for joining.